never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
I want to ask you.
I want y'all to feel the silence, okay? Whoopi's already like, let me take control of this right now because I was already suspended for the same thing, okay?
And it's the 4th year anniversary of the D.C. rally based on false claims of election fraud that blew up into the January 6, 2021 insurrection. Now, hours from now, Vice President Harris will fulfill her duty to certify the 2024 election. And she gave this message to the American people.
So everybody calm down, okay? All right? Okay? All right? Like, y'all just still, no, you know, the average American does not think about January 6th. And Whoopi doesn't either. But Whoopi's paid to talk about it. Let's go.
Take a look.
The peaceful transfer of power is one of the most fundamental principles of American democracy. Today at the United States Capitol, I will perform my constitutional duty as Vice President of the United States to certify the results of the 2024 election. As we have seen, our democracy can be fragile, and it is up to then each one of us to stand up for our most cherished principles.
Why is our democracy fragile? If you are trying to make me believe that, you know, a mob of, I don't even want to call them a mob, a bunch of people going into the Capitol was going to upturn the country and turn it into where these people would start governing the country, then then why are we bothering other people in other countries? Because we are easily broken, if that's the case, right? But you know why they say that, though? Like, and we're going to get into the clip, guys, believe me, and thank you for watching. But let me just say this. They keep saying threat to democracy. We're going to keep it all the way real. Is because the feeling that these people felt to make them do what they did that day, whether people were there or not, really had to be a strong, emotional, and passionate feeling, okay? And they don't want the American people to get strong, emotional, or passionate about things that are happening in this country that are, in fact, going against the American people. So, yeah, that's what they call a threat to democracy. You know what a threat to democracy is? It's a threat to the status quo. It's a threat to the establishment, okay? But anyway, let's go back into this clip.
President Biden also penned an op-ed warning about the unrelenting effort to rewrite and even erase the history of that day. Mm-hmm. So is that what happened here? I mean, we all watched.
Yep.
I think most of us saw. Mm-hmm. I mean, some folks still say that's not what happened, but you know, but what do we do?
I think we need to find moral clarity, you know, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. Mm-hmm. And then you started seeing people backtrack that mm-hmm. and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, you know, we need to move on from January 6th. Mm-hmm. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history.
Okay, let's everybody calm down. We've had, this is not one of the worst. It's not even one of. She's big mad still because we've covered that clip where Condoleezza Rice basically told her where to put it with her January 6th complaints. Furthermore, I blame it square on Donald Trump. Why? Because he said we're going to have a freedom rally and people showed up, and then down the street people started doing things that he didn't even know about. I'm sorry, what? So, and this is the comparison that I've always made with this with people who get all extra like that. I'm like, well, then I guess I can't throw a party here, because if I throw a party at home and y'all start fighting down the block, it's my fault, right? Come on, like, really? Okay, make it make sense. Guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos. Let's go.
And when you think about the worst moments in American history, you know, like World War II, things that happened, you know, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
I want to ask you.
I want y'all to feel the silence, okay? Whoopi's already like, let me take control of this right now, because I was already suspended for the same thing, okay? Wait, you see what I'm saying? She, after the clap, just leave it there. But why are you even bringing everything else into it when you already have enough problems, right? Your husband is already under some sort of investigation, okay? And now you want to be bringing up events that will take away your whole livelihood. Girl, are you crazy? I mean, that's what she talks too much. What are you doing? Okay? The seriousness of like things that happened in the past. January 6th, I mean, these people were tripping. When I think I heard Kamala Harris one day say that January 6th was worse than 9/11, I wanted to come through the television. God forgive me, I did. Because I was like, are you serious? You know, 9/11 still bothers me to this day. As in, like, the kind of emotional cap, like, bro, and then the more and more information I found out about it, I'm just so I'm so infuriated by 9/11 to this day. And so for you to sit here and make January 6th, like, stop doing that. People don't think of January 6th as the worst times in America. Okay, they're gonna think the death of the assassination of JFK, the assassination of his brother, 9/11, and things like that. Not this. Come on. No, the only person who died that day I don't even care about because you call her some sort of terrorist. Ashley Babbitt, that's it.
Alyssa, because watching your evolution, when you look back, what goes through your mind?
I've been thinking a lot about this. I'll always be proud of Mike Pence for doing the right thing, but it's also an incredibly low bar. It's simply fulfilling the Constitution, just as Kamala Harris is going to do today, as Al Gore did before her. People have lost, and they've put the Constitution over their political ambitions. I have to say, I think there were warning signs, though, that we would be where we are today. And most Americans were not comfortable with January 6th. They thought it was bad. They thought it was awful. But for 4 years, they said, guys, we are hurting. The cost of living is too high. We are concerned about the border. I predicted here 6 months ago, we were careening to Donald Trump's inauguration. People needed to listen that, yes, democracy matters, but if you can't pay your bills, it's hard to care about something as nebulous as democracy. And I think that the warning signs were there. And I say this with due respect to Joe Biden. I didn't disagree with a word he said in that op-ed, but people were saying, we have concern about your age. He waited till August and then gave Kamala Harris this runway to run for president. All the warning signs were there. This was Democrats. They had the chance to stop Donald Trump from being inaugurated. And here we are. But I hope people don't. I hope the whitewashing of January 6th ends. It wasn't right. It never will be, no matter how much people lie about it. But this was avoidable in my mind.
You know, Alyssa really, man, like, she really, like, she's so lame to me. Like, would she ever say Ashley Babbitt out her mouth? Doubt it. Americans really need to get it together quick, bro. I don't know, man. We need to, like, these labels and stuff. Let me tell you something. Truth lands where falls where it lands, and that's a fact. You know, and if something happens to somebody on the so-called left that I think is an atrocity, I'm going to call it out. You know, and that's the difference on this channel. This is the inconvenient truth. And I'll tell you this much too. For anybody who thinks like, oh, well, that's, you know, no, they're on the left, so they probably deserved it, or no, because you're saying this, you sound like a leftist. I don't want to have anything to do with. That's your problem. That's the problem. We don't have real dialogue. We don't. You cannot peg me in any label except for Christian American. That's it. I mean, yeah, okay, woman, you know, but as far as my thought process, the truth lands where it falls, period. She's disgusting for not bringing that girl up. But, you know, I know they tell them what to say.
I think that it's an important thing is to commemorate it every year in a way, not to compare it to 9/11 because, again, it's not an equivalent, but There are people alive today, including my niece, that didn't know 9/11. So when you talk to anyone that was alive during that time, you have a visceral fear response that takes you back there. January 6th and watching the videos that were playing out on screen, it shook you to the core.
Absolutely.
There will be a time when people will not know this unless they read about it, unless they're taught it. And hopefully we continue to show video every year on January 6th, because I won't tell you how to feel. You just watch that video and you tell me what you see.
I see a mosh pit. Okay, I see a mosh pit. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not, you know, it looks like a lot going on. Okay, it was shocking, but from the door, that day, it's not about minimizing it. To me, I'm not one of those, like, oh, you need to condemn, like, man, get out of my face. I'm not condemning anything. Why? This purity, like, what is it? Purity signaling, whatever. I don't know what it's called. Whatever it's like, I can't do it. I'm not, because people expect you to. You condemn January 6th. No, a thing happened. People were very angry that day. When they said that Joe Biden was going to be president, now, I'm not saying that this would be me in here. You know, I'm not getting into that because I'm sorry, I'm on YouTube. But when they said Joe Biden was they announced him for president, my stomach dropped to like my intestines, because I said we are doomed. And not to the point of like, oh, I'm depressed. Like, no, I was just disgusted. I was like, I got to get out the streets, because everybody else was so happy because they had voted out racism. I knew what was going to happen. I knew our gas prices was going to increase. I knew our border was going to be blown wide open. I knew we would be involved in all kinds of different wars and funding different genocides and everything. I was like, this is going to be crazy this next 4 years. So I was like, I just want to go in the house. I was upset. Okay? All right? And some people maybe just act a certain way when they're upset. I don't know what to tell you. But this is not 9/11. You see what I'm telling you? They keep doing this thing about 9/11, 9/11. I'm tired of hearing this. I'm really tired of hearing this. You know, another time, and I'm just going to keep you see now, the problem is the coffee was a little too strong tonight. When the October 7th happened for Israel, people in Israel have every right to feel how they need to feel about that. I'm not here to tell them how to feel. But what I hated was hearing this is Israel's 9/11. Can y'all just leave 9/11 alone? Can everybody just leave that alone, please? Okay, we don't need to do that with anybody's anything. We don't need to do it. I don't like when black people do like the whole we're the Palestinians of America. No, you're not. You're not. Just leave people's stuff alone, okay? Anyway, setting hostages. Hopefully they don't come after. just shut up. You know what I mean? She's just always talking. It's like, girl, just be quiet, okay? Y'all already got a bunch of cases coming up. Just leave it alone, okay? I'll see you guys at the next.